Welcome to the Midlife Rider Project. This is a place for riders who have lived a little and learned a lot. A place for honest reflection, lived experience, and listening for the wisdom that emerges as we ride through this second season of life. There's a question that shows up for a lot of riders in midlife. It usually sounds something like this: why doesn't riding feel the same anymore? It's not worse necessarily, just different. Sometimes it's not fear that creates this, it's hesitation or caution. And yet, so many of us feel a sense of guilt or shame around that, as if confidence is something we're supposed to push our way back into, or if choosing safety means we're failing some invisible test. There's a premium placed on being scrappy, on pushing through, on doing the hard thing no matter what. And that kind of grit can be wonderful in a 12-year-old. But midlife lives in a different reality. Our bodies change, bones change, joints change, our energy changes. And choosing safety in this season is not some weakness or compromise. It's intelligent self-preservation. Sometimes confidence will look like just getting on, and sometimes confidence looks like saying, "Not today," and doing it without apology, without guilt, without explaining yourself to anyone. There's another belief that runs quietly through horse culture, that a horse has to be ridden, and that if you're not riding, you're somehow doing less or it's not enough. But the truth is, we derive enormous benefit from simply being around horses. Presence, purpose, connection, emotional regulation. Those things don't require a saddle. I once had an aged gelding who was beginning to show signs that retirement was close. I spent a lot of time grooming him, just standing with him or hand grazing him, just being together. And I was shamed for that, as if the value of our relationship depended on whether or not I swung a leg over his back. I loved that time, and so did he. He came to me as a starvation case. I took him in, sight unseen, and I promised him a good life. And when the time came, I promised him a good death. That promise mattered, and it had nothing to do with riding. Confidence doesn't come from doing more. It comes from feeling safe enough to stay with it. And safety can be supported in very real, practical ways. For some of us, that means choosing equipment that helps us feel safer. Caged stirrups or body protectors, inflatable safety vests, and helmets. Always helmets. I never get on a horse without one. Choosing safety equipment is not fear-based. It's wisdom. It's saying, I want to be able to keep doing this. Let me say that again. Choosing safety equipment isn't fear-based. It's wisdom. It's saying, I want to be able to keep doing this. Longevity matters. Here's something horses are very clear about. They feel it when we feel safe, and they feel it when we don't. The tension will travel, calmness also travels, and our confidence does too. When we honor our own limits, horses often just come along with us. And it's not because we've trained them to, but because partnership feels different when safety is present. This is not about bravery, it's about trust, trusting ourselves. And that trust grows best when we listen to ourselves as carefully as we listen to our horses. Staying with horses through midlife often looks different than it did when we were younger. We adjust, adapt, we make different choices. And sometimes staying with horses means choosing a quieter day, or choosing to groom instead of ride, or choosing rest over proving something. That's not giving up. That's commitment. That's confidence rooted in reality. If riding feels different for you right now, there's nothing wrong with that. It may mean that you're listening to yourself more, choosing safety and care, choosing longevity. Those are not compromises. They're signs of wisdom, and they deserve respect. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated, I hope you'll join me again next week as we continue riding through this season together. Until then, take good care of yourself and your horse.